Hi, welcome to Ambi's Views, where we deep dive into your favorite films and TV shows. And just an FYI, there will be some spoilers in this video. And please subscribe to help us grow this channel. Thank you. Judas and the Black Messiah is finally here, and this story is a biopic of Fred Hampton and Bill O'Neal, an FBI informant who infiltrated the Black Panther Party of Illinois. Starring Daniel Kaluuya as Fred Hampton and LaKeith Stanfield as Bill O'Neal. The film's title, Judas, relates to the treacherous betrayal by Bill O'Neal, and the Black Messiah was a name given to Fred Hampton by FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover, portrayed by Martin Sheen.
Our counterintelligence program must prevent the rise of a Black Messiah from among their midst.
Right at the beginning, we see Hoover stating that the Black Panther Party is the single greatest threat to America. And as a result of this, the FBI went on to create CoIntelPro, which stood for Counterintelligence Program, that was created from 1956 to about 1971, where they conducted illegal surveillance and other methods to disrupt and discredit mostly Black organizations during this time period. We see Bill O'Neal in the beginning of the film being recruited by an FBI agent as a result of him stealing a car and him being threatened with jail time if he doesn't do what he's told by getting close to Fred Hampton and the Black Panthers. O'Neal goes on and infiltrated the Black Panther Party by becoming the chief security person for Fred Hampton and his main driver.
Hey, Chairman, that wasn't no goddamn pig you was eating out there, was it?
Somebody got to show the pig who's boss, man.
We see Hampton bringing in different groups in Chicago, different groups who have the same goals.
I got a message for the big man. Tell him the Panthers want to sit down with the crowns. Imagine what we could accomplish together.
Which is the fighting for the oppressed or fighting against oppression, including the Young Lords, which was a Puerto Rican organization, the Young Patriots, which were a group of whites from down south who were poor and mistreated by the police in Chicago.
And my folks grew up poor. They were sharecroppers.
AKA the overseer.
What if the overseer had banded with the slaves and cut the masses through?
He brought all of them together and founded the Rainbow Coalition. We see the continuous growth of Hampton's influence, and the FBI saw this as a threat, so they came up with a bogus charge. They arrested him for stealing ice cream, which was untrue, and put him in jail. And this was their way of thinking that by putting him in jail, his influence and the work of the Panthers would be minimized, but this was not the case. His influence continued to grow, and the work of the Panthers continued, even with the dwindled donations and memberships.
Anywhere there's people, there's power.
This is a powerful film with Oscar-worthy performances by both Daniel and LaKeith. But I must be honest, the film was very emotionally triggering. While I knew the story of Fred Hampton and the Black Panthers, and I knew the story of his death, seeing it on screen was very painful with deep anger and sadness.
Deputy Chairman Fred Hampton of the Illinois Black Panther Party.
Some of the most memorable scenes for me was the speech he gave after coming out of jail. He gave such a empowering scene about the revolution and freedom, where during his speech, he also predicted his own death.
I believe I'm gonna die doing what I was born for. I believe I'm gonna die half the people. I'm gonna die for the people because I live for the people.
Where he talks about he knows he's not gonna die of bad heart or heart attack or bad lungs or whatever, or dying in his sleep. He knew that he was probably going to be assassinated and was going to be murdered. And one of the reasons I like this scene is that while he's giving this speech about being martyred, the camera cuts to his pregnant girlfriend, and we see the sadness in her face because this is her man or the father of her child talking about not being able to be around for their unborn child and how this is affecting her.
I can protect myself. I know you can. But you don't got just yourself to think about anymore.
And I think this was a great scene because in a lot of these stories of these men, and to be honest, Fred Hampton was so young. He was only 21 years old. Only 21 years old. And look at all the things he accomplished at such a young age. But for me, what was interesting is that a lot of these men, whether it's Malcolm X or Fred Hampton, where they get assassinated or they get murdered by the system. And we don't really get to see the impact that it has on their families, especially the women in their lives, right? The mothers of their children and their wives and the partners that they have. How their death or things that happens to them, how it impacts them.
And trying to paint my Jake as some cold-blooded killer. He did that. He did that. But that ain't all he did.
We see Deborah, his girlfriend, standing there clapping for the amazing speech that he's given, but with such pain and sadness in her eyes. What is really sad about this film is that it is released in 2021, and the story of the film itself is from late 60s to early 70s, but everything that is in the film is still happening today. And that is the sadness and the anger that I felt watching this film, because everything that happened back then is still happening right now with today, with systemic racism, with police brutality, with some people calling the Black Lives Matter movement a terrorist organization, the same way they classified the Black Panthers back then as a terrorist organization. So nothing really has changed. Nothing has changed. Oh, and in the film, the FBI agent who recruited O'Neill actually compares the KKK to the Black Panthers.
Don't let Hampton fool you. Their aim is to sow hatred and inspire terror.
Arguing that both the Black Panthers and the KKK do the same thing and they cause the same damage. Therefore, they were both bad and that they needed to be eliminated. And this reminded me of when Trump said there were fine people on both sides by comparing protesters against oppression to white supremacists who actually ran down a woman and murdered a woman with their car. At the end of the film, we see the police raiding Hampton's apartment at 4 a.m. in the morning while they sleep, and the police killing several Black Panthers, including Fred Hampton. This scene, while I knew that it was coming, and while this is a true story, obviously, it was still very traumatizing to watch, especially with the amazing acting by Hampton's girlfriend, who's portrayed by Dominique Fishback.
What do you know? We got a broad here. Take her.
After selling out Hampton to his death, we see Judas, aka O'Neill, getting his 30 pieces of silver from the FBI with a gas station and few $100 bills being given to him for his grand reward of getting his fellow Black man murdered and assassinated by the system that continues to be around today. I think the film tries to make you empathize with the viewpoint of O'Neill by probably asking the question, was he really a traitor or was he just a cog caught in the wheel?
My superiors know I have a man on the inside, but that's it. No one knows your identity.
Are you sure?
Whatever the intention was, I felt nothing for this guy. And this has nothing to do with LaKeith, who gave such a great performance for this character. By the way, did you catch all the Easter eggs from this film? Not only was there a Get Out reunion, there was also a reunion of Sorry to Bother You, which I thought was fantastic because I was not expecting that. Another Easter egg is O'Neill having a dream about someone holding a gun at him, and this person is himself. So he's holding a gun at himself for being a rat.
Don't kill me. I'm not a rat. I'm not a rat, I swear.
And I thought this was a really great scene because they took it from the cover of Huey's book, Revolutionary Suicide. And I thought this was great because if you compare both the front and the back cover to the scene, it's exactly the same. So this was a great way of paying homage to Huey. I love finding Easter eggs. Another one that I found was while Hampton was preparing for his speech. He opens a book that his speech is in, and we see a picture of Betty Shabazz. Now, for those of you who may know, this is Malcolm X's wife. So this was his own homage to Malcolm X and his family by having a picture of Betty inside his book. So I thought this was fantastic because I'm a big fan of Malcolm X. So when I saw the picture, I knew right away that it was Betty Shabazz. This film definitely deserves all the hype that it's getting. Kudos to Shaka King, Daniel Kaluuya, and LaKeith Stanfield. Fantastic job, fantastic filmmaking, and so timely.
You can murder revolutionary, but you can't murder revolution. And you can murder a freedom fighter, but you can't murder freedom.
So, before watching this film, did you know about Fred Hampton and the Black Panther Party and his contribution, especially to the Illinois chapter? What's your take on the film? What emotions came up for you while watching this film? Did you know what was coming but still dreaded the ending? Let me know your thoughts down below, and thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.
You're going to have to say that I am a proletarian. I am the people. I'm not the pig. You got to make a distinction.
Thank you for watching. Are there any TV shows or films you would like us to review? Leave it in the comment below and don't forget to subscribe.